Hey guys, welcome back to this next video in my Coach Jake series. It's been a while since I've done any gameplay reviews. There hasn't been any official OWL matches yet. I wanted to do a gameplay review focused on my own gameplay. People that have been watching my stream might know that, I've been practicing a lot of support recently in this goal of like learning a new role that I didn't really play previously or have much experience on. I've really got back into that improvement mindset, thinking about how do you get better over time? How do you learn something new, especially new heroes, new roles, something you're not completely comfortable with, that you've played for a long time? In that vein, I thought it would be interesting for a lot of people who follow my YouTube channel and who like that educational content for me to go over a review, not just talking about my own gameplay in this review, and trying to, myself think about how I could have played better and what I can improve on, but also going over the general process of how you at home might approach your own demo reviews. I think a lot of people talk about, you can watch your own replays and that can help you improve, but how do you really do that? Like, what's the way to actually approach that effectively, and it not just being a waste of your time? So I'll get into the general stuff, how I think you should approach it, doing your own replay reviews, and also I'll do it myself here, talking about this game specifically, playing Baptiste on Havana. What did I do well? What could I have done differently? What was a straight up mistake? And everything in between. Before we get into today's coaching video, I just want to give a quick shout out to the sponsor of today's video, which is XP Sports. XP Sports makes a whole line of energy supplement products that are all formulated specifically for gamers. They've got a whole range of products, from gummies to their boost powder. Personally, I really like this boost powder in the sour lime flavor. It's a personal favorite. You can order their products online at XP Sports website or at Walmart or Amazon, and you can find all the links in the description down below this video. You can use my code JAKE at checkout at xpsports.com for 30% off site-wide. So without further ado, let's just get right into it. We've got a lot of high-level players in this game. As you can see, we've got Nero. Nero is off-rolling a tank, but they also have Hanbin on Sigma. Enemy team has Fielder as well on support. A few randoms basically from ranked. On my team, we've got myself, BQB, and Gangnam Jin. So 3 pro players on each team, and 3 folks from the random rank. So there's definitely going to be a lot less consistency in this type of match because, it's half and half. Half of the players are strong, experienced players. The other half are just folks randomly in the queue. Nero's off-rolling, so definitely not the same standard as a pro match, but I still think you can learn a lot from reviews, even of stuff like this. And, for most players, right, you're not playing in scrims or matches, so this is the thing you have to review is your ranked gameplay. I'm just going to turn the sound down a little bit. Not too important for this review. Before we get into the review, I just wanted to talk about the general things I'm going to be thinking about when I watch the gameplay. Number one, most important thing I'm going to be thinking about is these huge important moments in the game. That's mostly going to be when you get an ultimate. How do you use that ultimate, or did you miss an opportunity to use the ultimate? So the decision making about ultimates obviously is really important at Overwatch. And then things of lesser importance might be how you use your cooldowns, your skills, and then another really important detail is where you're positioning on the map. So in my opinion, those are the big 3 most important things that you want to be thinking about. Hold on, I got some random folks in the general chat. An Overwatch classic, actually. So looks like we're playing a rush comp here. A little bit scuffed. We don't have a Mei, but it is what it is. We're gonna have to work with it. Lack of a Mei will be a little bit hard to catch. Wouldn't really recommend this comp on Havana since it's so wide open. Maybe with Mei it could work if you could ice wall them and catch them, but yeah, you can see it. We're in a kind of a rough situation here. Just spamming. It's pretty risky for me to jump like that. I think that's actually really bad for me. I should just stay on the low ground. Yeah, I shouldn't be doing these high jumps. I think that's honestly just an opportunity for the Hanzo to headshot me. Unfortunately, the Hanzo finds someone else. Good drone there on my Ryan. I'm pretty sure he needed it, but he does get stunned down by Hanbin and killed, so we aren't going to be able to save him. And my team's dead, so I'm looking for a counter kill. Luckily, I'm able to get this Hanzo. This is not great, but this is desperation mode, right? I'm just trying to do anything, just die, because my team's dead. So I think that's fine for me overall. Probably the biggest mistake I made so far was was doing too many jumps in front of snipers. That's like my first thought watching this, is that I'm jumping too much in front of the snipers, but my drone was good, and then once the fight was kind of lost, I just went in for some kills. So it's good that I got anything, like forcing them to use res. Now amp wall comes out. I don't know if... I mean, I guess theoretically I could have droned that Ryan, but he just died so fast, didn't have his shield up, so don't really think that's on me. Just a fast reset, try not to die here, go all the way back to the spawn, play it safe. Looks like that's what I'm doing, so not too much to be done. Oh wow, my team is really on an epic feed right now. Yeah, not too much to do here. Just heal the team up. We get a Mei now. I think that is good for us because enemy team's comp is pretty good, so we're gonna need to have like at least a decent type of rush. We have a Zen though, so I don't know, it's kind of weird, like one step forward, one step back. Zen is like more of a spam hero. Not really gonna help us catch them on rush, but will give us more damage if we can catch them. Still, I think this comp, I think their comp is just so strong on this map. I think the 2 shield is generally really good on Havana, so I do think we're in a bit of a rush spot. We also have an Orisa. We have a very weird comp here, Orisa Zarya, but if our Zarya has high energy, I think it's actually fine. Zarya can do a lot. Windowing here, just trying to get some space. Have to drone, sure. Just making sure. It's possible I could have held the drone there, but I think it would have been too risky in case somebody got headshot or something right as the flux slammed them down. See, there's a Hanzo on the flank here, and I don't really want that fight. So it's fine. I'm just trying to stay away from him, use his high ground. Now I see him on the flank with the Sonic Arrow, so we can push this out with my Hanzo. Come back. First heal target is my Zen, of course. Oh, that's actually bad for me. Let's watch that again a little bit. I think I could have played this a little bit better. Did I need to jump out like this? I'm pretty sure I don't need to do this. So I've healed my Zen. I think this is the play where this is like a feed for me, right? Like, I think what I could have done here is heal the Zen and then just maybe play back and peek this angle on the left. That would have been a lot better. In hindsight, this move was kind of a feed, and we actually had a chance to win this fight. This was like very winnable. It was kind of even players, and I'm close to an ult, so that's actually a pretty bad mistake for me. I should have just not been peeking a sight line that I'm not watching. It's one thing to like take that peek intentionally and peek it myself, and you know, have the intention that I'm gonna fight this, but it's another thing to like just walk out into the sight line and not even be looking, not even be dodging the players who might potentially be there to fight me. Here I'm out in the open, but it's only Orisa shooting at me, which actually isn't such a big deal. Can't save. I could have maybe droned that Zarya, but she got bursted pretty fast. Mercy's just walking around in front of me. Not really sure about that play from the enemy Mercy. Focusing my heals on my Zen, because he's my most important hero. Finishing off the enemy BAP. Sure. It's a really good window for me. Only question would be whether I could have saved the Zarya earlier on there. I think it might have been possible, but you know, sometimes people get bursted so fast that you don't react with the drone. I think that's kind of acceptable. Usually, you know, you want to get it in those scenarios where you're really needing it and not wasting it for no reason. This was a waste, actually, of a drone. That could have been better. I could have just figured out that the Zen was, you know, out of the mines. He wasn't going to be in trouble. Here I just want to push car, but Hanbin kind of feeds to me, actually. So that's fine, I guess. Normally I would have focused on healing, but since there's somebody on me, it's like more important that I fight first. And here I just really want to push the car, so the fact that their Orisa is here is like surprising to me, I guess. Ball's here, we can burst him down. Ooh, that's really unfortunate. If I could have droned the Sig there, that would have been really good to drone Sigma. Luckily BQB gets a big frag there, and we're able to get, looks like mostly just cleanup kills. Heal my Hanzo while he fights, but BQB is just rolling him. And then this is mostly just cleanup frags right here. Sure, just clean up whatever. So now it's all about setting up in position for the next team fight. And I have my window, so I want to think about using my window. Actually, remember this? I was calling for somebody else to be on cart because I don't want to be on cart in this fight. I think maybe Sigma could have done it, or Arissa or something. I think it's really good for me to be on like the high ground or something like that. Like I see it's hard for me to heal my team from cart, so... Ends up being fine. Pushing forward to kill spawns. I think their Zen kills a bunch of people in my spawn. Their Zen's like 1 HP, but I don't know how he lives somehow. Yeah, he kills 2 of them. Someone's got to stop Fielder, man. He's running rampant. Looks like it's going down Jin, who's up to the test. I think this is fine for me to push forward. I don't think my 2 players should die to the enemy Zen. I think that's kind of some misplays from them. That D.Va is trying to feed ult, so I actually don't want to damage her. That's why I backed off. That's fine. Now, again, it's back in this idea of, like, how do I use my amp wall? Can I get good value out of it? Looking for a need for the drone, potentially. Pretty sure I don't need to drone this. Yeah, it should be fine. It's all fine. We do lose 1, though, so I'm going to, like, slow down. It's pretty hard to amp wall this either. Oh, well, that's actually my bad. Nero caught me off guard while I was distracted, so I wasn't able to heal my Zen. But he does die for it. Kind of a questionable play to be that deep on D.Va. Their ball is really wasting a lot of time and creating a lot of openings for the enemy sniper. He's trying to heal the Zen. Oh, pain. That's a bit unlucky, actually. Getting sniped from high ground. I could have been more conscious about that LOS and just stayed on this cover. That probably, in that depth, would have been the key. If I had just played positionally on this cover. Obviously, when you're getting one shot by Hanzo, you don't. I mean, you're not really using the drone for something like that. But if I had just played using the cover or playing on my tanks, it could have been a little better. So that's what I'll think about for next time. Amp wall to kill off the... Oh no, this is pain. I think I missed one of those heals. That was pretty bad, actually. I didn't realize I did that in the game, but I think I did miss. And then if I'd saved Nero and been able to... Or sorry, not save BQB from Nero. I was hoping to like get this drone on my Sigma, but then the Hanzo turned on me and I didn't really get too much value off it. But I think maybe the keys to winning this fight would have been actually just not dying when I died to the Hanzo in this position. Because then I would have been able to just snowball. Mostly our comp with the double shield, we need to just like not lose map position because we move so slow. So, you know, both the times I died, obviously even though my team made a lot of mistakes, the big mistakes for me were dying in those 2 times that round. One of them when I forward peeked too far in the scrappy fight on first, and then the next one being here on last when I got headshot by the Hanzo. If I had been a little bit more intelligent with cover and just stayed alive, both of those times we maybe could have won those fights and had better chances to finish the map. So, you know, even though I'm having a lot of big moments this game and getting a lot of kills, I'm also making a couple key mistakes. And even though I feel like I played pretty well overall this game, which is why I wanted to review it, like it just goes to show that even though my memory of this game is that I played pretty well, that upon rewatching it again, I feel like, oh wow, like here's these key mistakes that honestly I didn't even notice when I played this game. I didn't even think about those mistakes really. I was like, oh crap, I died or whatever. And I think that's the great thing about rewatching your demos is that it's going to get you to think more critically, like why did I die? What went wrong? You know, could I have played better? Was it truly unlucky, or was there something that, you know, could have just been a smarter way to play, a more consistent, reliable way to play? So now we have a better comp, I think. More of like we're playing the full double shield. We're playing Bap Zen, which I think is a pretty strong support combo when you do play double shield. I don't think Mei is that good on this map with double shield. I do think the enemy's comp with, you know, double sniper is just better. But Mei's not that bad. You can still get good value off walls. Mei's right-click spam, not terrible, honestly. Even just for shield breaking, not terrible. So, yeah, I'm not too worried about our comp. Obviously, no one on our team is taking damage, so I'm just focused on putting out shield pressure, really. Could have even been a little more focused on the shield pressure here. But I do like on BAP to sit back enough to where I can see my teammates and make sure I'm like ready to heal them, you know? And you see a lot of times I'm just shooting heals on full HP players because I'm anticipating that, okay, shields are starting to break. We might be taking damage. I think that's a really good habit to be in on BAP, is the habit of consistently looking at your teammates and even pre-healing them when you think damage is incoming. It can really help people survive. My recollection is that I miss a drone opportunity here, and that's why we actually lose first. So let's look for it. This Mei is going really deep. I don't need to be this deep, though. I'm in that angle for no reason. Hanzo on me. Okay, I actually fed. So Fielder was just more aggressive and faster than me to drop this window. And the thing is, I actually don't think this window is all that good. Like, the cart is about to block it. If I can just get a drone down on this left corner, especially if it's like a really ideal position, like maybe like right here, if I should drone first and then window. Because that order of windowing first, because they already windowed, right, we're under a ton of pressure. So I actually am very likely to be bursted down as soon as the enemy windows. And even though I do want to counter window, obviously the most important thing is that I stay alive. So, and my teammates also stay alive. They don't get instantly bursted. So it would have really helped a lot if I had, I mean, obviously it would have helped a lot to drone first, but something I should just think about in this sort of mirror matchup. If the enemy gets their window out first, which already isn't good, like I'd rather get my window out first. We can also rewatch again this sort of moment here. Did I have window early enough? Like, could I have popped it earlier? Fielder's ahead of me by about 10%, but I'm about to heal a lot, so. Could have healed these tanks a little bit more, so I have it now. I actually could just pop it right now, but I think it's because this Hanzo kind of distracted me. I was a little slow to pop it, and Fielder got the edge on me, but it wasn't the Hanzo who killed me. Actually, BQB wins that duel like later. But it's this BAP window that kills me. So basically my problem here was that my position, I was a little bit too exposed. I could be hugging this wall, so I'm a little bit safer and I don't get poked from this off angle. And I could also be droning first when the enemy's getting their window off first. And I think my position is better. I think our team's position is actually better than theirs. So I think if I just live here with drone, and since they already used their drone, we actually could be winning this fight. So this is a great moment to review and to even like pause and re-look at it again, because it's one of those moments where this could be a defining moment of the match. And we do lose this match, so I think it will be a defining moment. Like, if we make this hold, we'll have a great chance to win future fights, because we'll probably clean up the fight, and then we'll have ults like Gravitic Flux and Supercharger, Transcendence, you know, really key ultimates online. So it's actually a really big deal. And I think this is another great thing to think about when you're reviewing your own replays, is considering which fights are like the really important fights and which ones are not such a big deal. Like, this is a really important fight because it's the first big fight on double shield where both teams are clashing, is going to most likely lead to the winning team snowballing a bunch of fights in a row. So definitely really unfortunate that I failed here and lost, and it kind of cost my team the fight. I would say definitely cost my team the fight. I think we maybe have lost somebody else, but regardless, I definitely could have played that so much better. Now enemies pushing bottom left. I want to be here, but this is scary. I think that could have been safer. I could have just backed up to my tanks maybe here. The only thing that matters here is this fight outside. It's a really important, huge rock actually about my Sigma to cancel that flux. Looks like their Sig might have been dying anyway. Oh yeah, I remember this. I was calling for my Orisa to push because I really wanted to push, and even without her, we end up getting that kill. But I think my Orisa really messed that up. We should have just instantly pushed and gone for more kills, right? We just killed both of the enemy tanks. They can't fight at all. So it's just a really great moment for us to charge forward and to look for stagger kills and maybe finish them off. So I think that's on my Orisa. I think it was a good instinct from me. This is a bit of a troll play, like being on the flank on BAT. It ends up going for the best because we have this Mei ult. So it's not a problem, but I don't think that's a very consistent play style, shall we say. Is this fine? Okay, we have both support ults. I was going to say I don't need to be getting these heals because I already have my ult, and since it's not really a fight, I could just let my Zen get heals, but it looks like we have both support ults, so we are at a very good spot here. What happens next? Marissa's a little bit far forward. Excuse me. I like to pop window with flux. I think it's a really powerful combo. Obviously because the flux like controls the enemy movement, and then the window allows you to kill people while they're still in the air, for instance, so they can't get droned by Baptiste and, you know, plays like that. Might have been worthwhile to just put a safety drone down to make sure their Hanzo can't get a lucky headshot, because that window was just such a dominant one with flux and window. We had like a huge advantage here. Early dragon. We almost get the Orisa. Unfortunately, we can't finish that kill off. We do break her bongo, which is a big deal. Oh, that's very painful, actually, losing our Sig. Could have droned that, but I really didn't want to. We were right next to our Orisa. I saw them flanking my Hanzo, tried to give him a last-ditch drone, so maybe he can trade a kill. I really don't like this Mei ult. I think this is a huge throw from my Mei. She's actually like 1v6, I think. Maybe the Zen's fighting. I don't know. What? It's like 2v or something. I mean, I'm alive, but I'm like so far away. My Zen is like getting stuff done, but he's not committing an ult for it, whereas the Mei is. So yeah, I think that's pretty bad actually from our Mei. We had a chance to win this recontest, but yeah, we just get caught in this really bad stagger fight. I have to drone myself here. I think I'm dead anyway, though. Just too much pressure. Yeah, we just don't get a recontest on second. I think if we had just kept our heroes, like, just go die on card on Mei, we would have had a recontest with Blizzard, and it could have gone well for us. Maybe not, but at least we would have forced some ults. But this is pretty worst case scenario because we switched heroes, and we don't even get a hold. So we have, like, a lot to do on third is basically the issue here. Here. Oh, that's really good halt from Nero. I'm in big trouble. I don't know if I can survive this. Yeah. Maybe I could have snuck into the room there or jumped up top. But yeah, it was looking pretty bad once I was caught out with that back spawn. I could have maybe just retreated earlier overall rather than trying to stay at all and heal my Sig when he was respawned. But this is what I'm talking about. The snowball from the double shield is really potent. So those fights where the snowball, when the momentum begins, that's the most important fight, right? Oh, I remember this. I'm just not in my drone. Oh, it's so sad. Like right outside my drone. That's actually a really big mistake for me. Just like I put the drone down in actually like a really good spot. Like if we watch in this perspective, I put the drone down in this spot where it's like very difficult for them to break, right? So this is actually a really good drone. It's like in a very safe location. As long as I play the radius, I'm going to be really effective here. But if you watch my health bar, you can see I'm outside the radius. And I just get these kills, sure. But I could have just done the same thing, right? From inside the drone radius. You see where my Orisa is? Like, you know, so it's just a huge difference. And that's a small difference in positioning. But just because I wasn't thinking about it, like actively, then I just feed basically. It's like just giving up a free kill. So my drone is also timing out, so I should have been extra conscious. I think that's a pretty big error for me. I think my Orisa is like really inexperienced with Orisa. Like, what is this shield from Orisa? What? All she should be doing is building shield right here at the top. We should never push up from this top position. There's absolutely no... Like, this shield, from the enemy's perspective, just does not block. Like, it does not block our Sigma. So, this is a really, really bad play for my Orisa. Especially because I'm dead on Baptiste, right? So, like, we're actually not strong right now, and we need to play passive. So, my Orisa essentially wastes her shield. And then she's, like, out of the fight for so long. She puts a shield to back, which I think is actually good here. But it's still, we're looking at a very difficult fight here. Yeah, they use a nice supercharger, start the fight. Oh, my Orisa, again, like, really, like, I don't know why she's trying to go this way. She could just sit right here with the Sigma, and she'd be perfectly fine. I could heal her, but basically she just, like, ran away from me on Batiste, so I think that lamp is fine because she's dying, but it's like she just should not have tried to run away. She should have stayed with the healers. I think this guy, in watching this replay again, I think this guy is really inexperienced on Orisa. I'm like mega desperation looking for kills here, but I feel like this fight is over if I can't find some sort of free kill because we've already lost multiple players, so I don't know. In hindsight, maybe that's too risky, but maybe we actually had to make a huge play like solo killing somebody off the flank there. That's actually really unfortunate. The decisions my Orisa made there at the end, but even though she made mistakes, it was like if I had not made my mistakes and I had just stayed alive the whole time, I could have covered for her mistakes. Like if I had not died walking onto my drone, if I, especially on the first offense where I had 2 big moments where, you know, I messed up and died when we could have full capped the map probably if I had not done those things. So like even though I look at my teammates for 2 seconds and I notice a bunch of mistakes, I think it's really important in these reviews to contextualize those mistakes with your own mistakes. Like, I don't get any better at the game from noticing that he's doing things wrong on Orisa, but I will get better at the game from that review where I've like seen what I've done wrong and I can iterate on it. I can think, okay, when I'm, you know, I need to be getting my drones down faster and in a better position and playing around that position more effectively. Don't walk out of your drone like a dummy. And also don't like be too greedy, you know, like placing it quicker, being more snappy on my decision making. I think that's the key. I think I noticed I'm jumping too much on BAP, like jumping up and down on the sight line, kind of just like asking to get headshot. There's no real reason to do that. I could just aim better from the low ground. I shouldn't need to be doing those hops. It's just a risk. And when I'm peeking, I need to be really conscious of where my position is relative to the sight lines. Can I play a really safe spot where I'm not going to get forced to drone or worse, getting like insta headshot? So probably the biggest things I think I've done wrong this game are mostly about positioning, decision making, how to move around the map, and how to play around my cooldowns after they utilize them. I feel like, you know, my basics, like my ability, my ability usage, my ult usage seems fine to me. I think for me, my biggest issues are in positioning and map movement, which I think will probably be common for people at the higher SR, that's really the places they can improve. Most people at high rating are pretty good at using their ultimates, sort of understanding the situations and whatnot to make use of them. So yeah, that was my demo review. I feel like I actually got a lot out of this personally, and I'm going to be able to take those things forward in my future BAP games and think more about playing in position, where I am on the map relative to the enemies, relative to, you know, potentially threatening sight lines, especially on sniper maps. So as far as playing BAP in the double shield comp, I feel like this was actually a really useful replay to review. And more than that, I hope that you guys got something out of my process for reviewing, for looking for your own mistakes by, again, starting on those big moments in the game, you know, the moments where you either die in a bad way or you use your ultimate and get no value. Things like that are great targets to review because they're usually really important moments in the game. And if you made a mistake, then you can learn a lot from it. And it can be something that, you know, instead of, you know, as in your mind, you're always going to remember the big mistakes you make, right? And like the big, you know, times you slip up in a match. So that'll help you then improve and do better next time. You'll be able to connect that mistake with, in your mind, like the way you want to play differently next time. So I hope, guys, that you got something out of this. Hope you enjoyed this review. Thanks again to the sponsor of the video, which is XP Sports. Yeah, for making this video possible. And hope you guys enjoyed this latest iteration of the Coach Jake series.